Welcome to episode 4 of the BozCast. Today's episode is brought to you by bestwebs.host. Visit bestwebs.host and click the free ebook button and get a free gift for checking out the website. Now on to the BozCast.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up-and-gone, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
You're simply the best. You're the best.
God, I hate knowing everything.
Hello everyone, I'm Charles Bosworth. Friends call me Boz, but if you've been following me for any period of time, you may know me as Charlie Prophet or Boz Prophet. In any case, after many years of being off the radio, I'm back in this BozCast. Glad to have you listening. While you were thinking about it, please like, comment, and share this episode. I hope the message resonates, and if it helps just one person, I've done my job today. This segment of the BozCast is what I call the profit margin. It's not a financial segment, but it is a discussion on ways to improve the bottom line of your life. Now, before I get into the next topic, I want to give some background for those of you who are new to me, and for some of you who maybe have known me for a while but don't yet know me very well. I started working in radio in late 1989 or early 1990 at a small community station that served the South Shore of Montreal, Quebec. Over the years, I would get off one ladder to get on another that took me to a new level. At one point, I was managing a small AM radio station in the Hartford, Connecticut metro, and we were a news talk station. And I also hosted my own daily 2-hour show. I was there for 6 to 7 years. Then, due to a lack of planning, life changed for me. The owner sold the station and I lost my job. The story is a little more detailed than that, but that is the gist. I did not have a plan for the future. I'd gotten comfortable and I was enjoying what I was doing tremendously, but I was not making much money. It was barely enough to pay the bills, really. I was too prideful to seek a mentor to teach me how I could grow the revenue of the radio station. I thought I knew enough and that God would eventually open doors to make the radio station successful. Then suddenly, with the sale of the station, I had no income at all. My wife picked up a job that got us by. I tried creating a community on the internet for the town that we lived in. Facebook was just getting started back then and I was ahead of my time. People did not see the value of having a presence online at that time. Many did not have a website for their own businesses, but again, I was too prideful to seek help on how I could be successful doing what I wanted to do. I figured the internet was the wild, wild west, and who would know how to help me anyway, at least without wanting to charge me an arm and a leg for their help. So we had to move. We ended up back in Montreal, where I went to high school. We lived there for almost 7 years, and we struggled to get by there. I struggled to create an internet radio show. It went nowhere. For comparison, it was 2009 and Joe Rogan started at the same time. His show is now the most listened to podcast and he recently struck a multi-million-dollar deal. But I digress. Over the years, I tried building websites for small business owners. I was not very successful in finding many clients. I worked several telesale jobs, but wasn't really good at that either. Eventually, we ended up having to move again, and we returned to the States. I was lucky to get a radio gig working for a group of stations that I had previously worked for in Reno, Nevada. After 6 months, an opportunity within the company presented that I was able to take. It gave me a better income and more responsibility. Essentially, it was like a promotion, but not a formal one because I did have to apply, and then they hired me. I became the program director and morning show co-host for an AM station here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Upon moving here, my allergies ripped me apart, and anyone who is a transplant here knows what that's all about. And being sleep deprived from doing the morning show, I was having a lot of trouble with my eyes, and I had really bad eczema. Not to mention that there was an unruly employee that was untouchable, which made work a little difficult. About 6 months in, I suggested to my supervisor that I would probably not be around in 3 to 6 months, having to deal with the allergies. But I went back to him and suggested changing my work hours and giving up the morning show would give my body an opportunity to overcome the allergies for it to heal itself. That's what my doctor had suggested. But I was told that if I wanted the job, I had to keep doing the morning show. So I was forced to resign for health reasons. 4 years later, and we are still struggling to make ends meet. Now, God has always provided, but the journey has not been easy. I tell you that story to help you understand where my mind has been, and that is not even the darkest hour in my life. Maybe one day I'll tell that story. In any case, life for the past 10 plus years has been very difficult, financially. My story is not unusual, though. There are many people who struggle financially. But we do not live extravagantly. We are not in debt, driving expensive cars or wearing expensive clothes with credit cards maxed out. Life for us has been meager and simple. We live paycheck to paycheck, sometimes getting by through charity or the generosity of others. Now, I don't think this is where I'm supposed to remain, but I do think that I'm here to learn. I have some talent. I'm not the best at what I do, but I am very good at it. When someone does buy one of my services that I offer, I try to be helpful and provide more value than expected. I try to treat others the way I want to be treated. I try to tip well when I can. I'm not a perfect person, and I still have much to learn. I know that in order to grow, we have to step outside our comfort zone. Telling this story is uncomfortable for me, but it's necessary because of where I think my life is going. I want others to be inspired and learn that the end of the rope is not the end. You just hang on, and you'll get pulled up, or if you're really determined enough, you'll be able to climb back up. But most importantly, if you want to succeed, you have to have the right kind of thoughts. Now let me explain. The mind is powerful. It's so powerful with imagination, it can create anything. Without imagination, I don't think humankind would accomplish very much. We would survive only on instinct. Now, look around at all the things man has created that started in his imagination. Books, electricity, transportation, roads, buildings, telephone, radio, TV, the internet, the space station, and all kinds of gadgets to improve our lives that give us ease, convenience, or entertain us. It is phenomenal. These all started in someone's mind as an idea in their imagination. Then came manifestation and creation in reality, often through adversity. But the mind is not limited there. It is so powerful that it will create illusions too. Now, illusions are things that are not real but perceived to be. The definition of illusion is a misleading image presented to the vision. Like a mirage of an oasis in the desert. You see it, but it's not really there. Yet the mind also uses the power of imagination to create an illusion that is not visible to the eye, something you can't see. It's visible only in the imagination. These illusions will never manifest, nor appear to the eye. These illusions are very powerful. You might ask, how is an illusion powerful if it's in our imagination? And many teachers and coaches probably wonder the same. Simply put, illusions are as powerful as the mind and imagination allows. Many obstacles to accomplishing the things that we are passionate about are nothing but illusions. We envision problems or challenges in our imagination that do not exist. These illusions stop us from doing things that we would do were it not for the illusions. When left unchecked, illusions are good at creating insurmountable obstacles. You've heard the expression, making mountains out of molehills. It's much easier to believe these illusions when we allow them to masquerade as reality. And we do that when we help build the illusion. For example, I can't because I don't know how. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm afraid of this. What if that? These are all illusions that we make real by what we believe about them. We believe the excuses we make up. We give them authority over us. When I was little, my dad asked me to do something, and I'd say, I can't. His reply always was, can't never did anything. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The illusion of the obstacle is not always there as self-sabotage, though, but we do often use it as an excuse to not move forward. The illusion of an obstacle often is a test of resilience and persistence. It can be a test of practicality and logic. In order to accomplish the thing, you have to study, learn, assess, and apply. For example, if you want to become an electrician, you don't just unscrew the outlets in your house and randomly alter wires to see what happens. You don't experiment with amps and volts, power converters, and transformers. You want to learn from a knowledgeable teacher who can protect you from making a deadly mistake. Another example, in order for man to fly, he could not flap his arms like a bird flaps its wings and lift to the air, nor could he jump off a cliff expecting his arms to carry him down to a safe landing. The Wright brothers, credited with the first flight, used imagination to overcome obstacles. Some were real, some were perceived. The test of their resilience was their persistence to find the answer on how man could fly. The test of practicality and logic was not jumping off a cliff to only use their imagination to see if they could fly, but they tested their imagination using physics. They were able to determine things such as velocity and thrust to get lifted off the ground. They followed a process and were not careless. Recently, my two oldest children, who are now adults, went skydiving. I guarantee you that they did not charter a plane, put on parachutes, and then just jump out of the plane. There were obstacles, one being that they didn't know how to do it. They had never done it before, but they wanted to do it safely. An instructor was there to guide them. They studied, learned, assessed, and applied. The obstacle left was fear. The only way to overcome that one was to jump. But at that point, they had knowledge and understanding of what they had to do to land safely. Sometimes the obstacles in our mind do protect us from harming ourselves. However, we need to discern the phony illusions of obstacles from the logic and reason that keeps us safe. Logic and reason creates a path to work through and overcome those fight or flight obstacles. The phony illusions of obstacles prevent us from moving forward. This is not to say that there are no real obstacles in life. We can say with certainty there are. Some people have physical limitations. They won't be able to do things in the exact same way as someone without those limitations would do them. Some people are bound by a lack of resources and others by a lack of knowledge. We can find many obstacles that can prevent people from accomplishing great things, but there are also ways to overcome that adversity. There are people who, if judged by their physical disabilities, one would not think could have accomplished anything. How is it that someone without limbs can climb a mountain? Look up Kyle Maynard. Someone without hearing can sing a song so beautiful. Look up Mandy Harvey. Someone without sight can paint a masterpiece. Look up Yusuf Armagon. How about a woman paralyzed by a stroke, then having a child and raising him? Well, that would be my mom, Michelle LaFrance. And you want to tell me you cannot start your project or pursue your passion because you might fail? Some people have more to lose by not even trying, and some gain so much more through failure. Failure is the first step toward success. The people I mention are but a few of the many who have accomplished great things despite their challenges. They not only had illusions of obstacles, but had physical obstacles. The only way to break the barrier of the physical obstacles was to break the illusion of the obstacles in their minds first. Illusions that their imagination created to give them a way out. But they did not allow the illusions to dictate their reality. What's dictating your reality right now? I want you to know I am telling you this as much for me as I am telling it for you. I have been procrastinating on a couple projects for fear of failure. This podcast is one of them. I have no other logical reason that I can conclude for the avoidance. The fear of failure is the obstacle created by the imaginary illusions in my mind. But today I woke up and had this realization that I am free. I'm free to do what I want. Nothing in my mind, in my imagination, can stop me. As a matter of fact, my imagination is supposed to help me. This realization did not happen on its own, though. If you do not know, I am a firm believer in Jesus Christ. All of my life I have been a learning believer. I believe all Christians are. We all have life lessons, challenges, and obstacles we need to learn from and overcome. This is not to say that I am perfect. I am not. As a matter of fact, I'm broken. I have been struggling for many years now and have had to learn some things. The most important thing that I've learned is to pray over any large decision. All of my life I have believed God is with me, and I do pray to Him, but I have never stopped to wait for His answer. I believed He would open doors when I asked, not like a genie, but more like a loving father wanting to see his child happy. I learned the hard way this does not always happen. Sometimes he expects that I should ask, wait, and be patient while he creates the perfect scenario for me. Me getting ahead of him at times has made that difficult. I have left several jobs without seeking his counsel first, such as my last radio station job. And looking back, I see if I had prayed and waited for his answer, my life may have been a little easier, and I may be more successful. I do hope that I have learned this lesson, because it's a hard one to learn. Putting that lesson to practice, I have been praying for an opportunity to use my talents and earn a good income. A couple days ago, I was reading Psalm 25. I realized it is a prayer that I can pray to God, just as David did. It is a powerful prayer. So I read it again, as a prayer. And I believe God answered today by showing me where I have been failing myself. I have believed the illusion of obstacles of why I can't. Yes, He showed me that. He showed me all I have to do is renew my mind. And you can read about that in Romans 12:2. Throw those thoughts away that hinder my actions, and I am free to create my success. It will not be easy, but it will not be impossible. Today I'm more confident in doing my podcast and working on my business now than I have been in a long time. I believe this will open doors for income opportunities and other opportunities. Now I feel like I have more energy to put into these projects and still be able to get other important things done around the house and with my family. Taking control of thoughts and disciplining them to be only of value to you is so important. Thoughts are where seeds get planted, fertilized with our imagination, and grow into reality. If we want to live positive, healthy, successful lives, we need to keep our thoughts focused on that which God commands. And you can read about that in Philippians 4:8. You've heard that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Often the first step is making sure your mind is right and focused. Make sure your imagination is helping you, not hindering. We often say someone has illusions of grandeur. But which is better, having illusions of grandeur or illusions of failure? This is not some kind of prosperity gospel message that if you believe, you will attract riches. The people I mentioned above are not likely top income earners, and I would venture to say that they do not seek riches, but are pursuing their passion and purpose. On the contrary, this message is that God's grace is enough to get you through your obstacles. He has shown me through His Word and through prayer that success is simple. It is accomplishing what you want to accomplish. If you never start, you can never finish. Success is not about being at the top or being the best. Success is getting to say that you did it. A person who finishes a marathon in last place is more successful at it than I am because I've never run one. If you're having thoughts of doubt that you can succeed, pray for guidance. Wait for His answer. That does not mean do nothing. But don't make those large decisions until He gives an answer. Do what you can with what you have. He will always provide. Most of all, know that you must clear out the illusions of failure. Clear out the illusions of obstacles. Pray for help with the real ones, and take action, because faith without works is dead. Thank you for listening to this episode of the BozCast. I'm Charles Bosworth. Feel free to call me Charlie or Boz if we ever speak. Follow me on all your favorite social platforms. Share this podcast everywhere. You can also listen to the BozCast on your favorite podcast platforms. Just search the BozCast. To support me and the BozCast, please visit bozcast.net to subscribe and get details on ways you can support this effort. That does it for this edition. Have a great day. Remember to exercise your right to practice the golden rule and treat others the way you want to be treated in every instance and every situation you have with others. Plant seeds of success in your mind's garden and watch your world change.
God, I hate knowing everything.
My name is Kim, and I love listening to Charlie Prophet.